don't see any movement. I think I'm gonna add some oil. Let's see how that. Come on, brain. I think I'm gonna have her like cut in some of the funny edits and stuff. Hey, welcome back to the kitchen. It's Jess. Today we're going to talk about sous vide cooking. So this came out kind of hot and heavy a couple years, like decades ago. And if you've ever had one of those perfect restaurant quality steaks that are medium rare all the way through, most likely they were sous vide. So sous vide is a French term. It translates as under vacuum, which relates to the kind of vacuum sealed bags. But really, it's just referred to any kind of cooking that's done in a water bath. So there's a couple things that you're gonna need if you are interested in sous vide cooking. I've got some vacuum sealed bags. Good old fashioned freezer bags will do the trick, but these are a little more sturdy and will hold up to obviously being submerged in water and also holding all those yummy ingredients to season your proteins. I've got an Aliso vacuum sealer. You'll need some kind of water aerating machine, and they've really come down to under $200. And there's all kinds. There's ones that are all built in together, and the one I'll show you really can just be used on any old pot. I've actually used it with like a paint tub when I've done a Thanksgiving Day turkey. As long as most of the paint's cleared out, I think it's fine. No, but really the food's safe, and it's just being submerged in the water. None of the water is actually touching the food. You're like, Jess, I already have so many things in my kitchen. Why do I want a sous vide? It's a really interesting technique. It's normally used for, you think, steaks, chops, lamb chops, things that tend to be harder to cook, like pork tenderloin, which can be really easily overcooked. I've done sous vide, which has been fun. Larger cuts of meat, which can take the hands-off aspect. You're literally picking the temperature. Like for this, I'm gonna pick medium rare, which is 130 degrees, and I can leave it in for an hour or 6 hours, and my steak will never get more than 130 degrees. So when you're talking about larger cuts of meat, like briskets or Boston butt roast or things like that, you can do them at a much lower temperature, and sometimes even up to like 4 days for some of those larger cuts of meat. So this is the epitome of truly set it and forget it. So what do you need to know? Preparing your vacuum sealed bag. So I've got a fillet here. I've got my vacuum sealer. I've got my bag. I could choose at this point to do a dry marinade, so using some of those dry herbs, or more of a moist marinade, which I'm gonna choose and put some olive oil, garlic, rosemary, salt, a little cracked black pepper, and really the possibilities are endless, so whatever you're interested in. The tip, I wouldn't use this with vegetables and fish at home. That's just my personal opinion. When I first got my sous vide, I got really excited and decided to try to throw some salmon in there, and it was a texture and consistency that was just kind of mushy, and it was not really appealing to me. So that's just my opinion. I mean, people have cookbooks on it and they might see otherwise as well for vegetables, but I'm not a huge fan. To each their own. All right, so I'm gonna slice up a few garlic cloves just to throw in there to just add some flavor into the meat. Literally, I've just sliced them in half, throwing those in there. I put a little kosher salt. I'm gonna put some fresh rosemary. Get some in there. Really nice. And some of that cracked smoked black pepper. That looks good. We'll throw that in. And like I said, anything that you have on hand, you can even do dry rubs that you want to consider. So I'm just going to put the filet right in there. He's going to meet his friends, all the ingredients. Most important thing is, if you imagine sticking this bag in water, you want to make sure that it's sealed. So really I think one of the mistakes I've done is letting some of my marinades actually touch kind of this part into the bag where it seals, these little gripper teeth, and then it's really hard to get a full seal there. So Mistakes happen if you get marinade in there or oil. Just go ahead and try to wipe it out so that you can really get a firm seal. That's important. Now, I don't know, let's see. I guess vacuum sealing, I'm gonna make this a little tighter. So it's like, why get this? Because really you could just kind of stick this in the way it is. But it is going to compress and take the air out, so allowing those flavors to impart faster and deeper, so they say. All right, so I've got my vacuum sealer. There's these little arrows on these bags that kind of help me line up with that. I'm gonna actually, now it's gonna take there and it's gonna start to suck the air out of the bag. It's a process. All right, so that takes a little bit. I put it on moist, so, oh, there we go. All right, so this would be ready to go. I'm gonna place this in my sous vide. So let's switch out and I'll introduce you to my sous vide. All right, so this is my friend. This is my Anova Precision Cooker. It's aerating. So I set this at 130 degrees, which is medium rare, and this has been going since 9 o'clock this morning. So you don't know what time it is out there, but it is almost 2. All right, so right there I had created a filet in the same kind of vacuum seal bag. Right there, we're gonna check on him and put this guy in there. Like I said, there's tons of charts online, and I can link one that I use that's got perfect temperatures for all varying cuts of meat, how long, how many hours, because you'd be shocked, right? It's not something that you're gonna know off the top of your head. All right, so let's see how this guy. The interesting thing about sous vide, and one more thing that you're gonna need, is probably a cast iron skillet or a grill, because as I show you as we remove this meat, it's kind of gray and it needs to be seared. So that's really the finishing touch. Ooh, let's see. Getting my hands dirty. All right, so here's our filet. It's not very sexy and is actually not picture worthy. And it's gonna be not even kind of cooked. It's not gonna have that good texture. So that's where a really good sear is gonna come into play, but it's going to be a perfect medium rare all the way through. So we'll set up our next iron skillet and we'll finish off our steak. All right, so you've got your sous vide steak or chop or tenderloin, and you need a piping hot iron skillet or grill if you wanna sear it that way. So I've got that, and really the cooking's already been done. So the only thing that I need to worry about is just getting that nice crispy sear on both sides. If you can smell, it smells good. Get all that like garlic flavor imparted into the meat, a little fresh rosemary. All right. Not perfect, but I think we're all right. So it's by searing, you see it's gonna give you a little crispy texture. We can even just add a little finishing salt at the end. But it really is gonna be great. You're gonna have that nice, hopefully medium rare, all the way in through that steak from edge to edge, which you really can't get with conventional cooking methods at home. So if you're looking for an easy set it and forget it kind of cooking method, maybe look into sous vide cooking and have your next medium rare steak.